Made It podcast. Today we have the lovely Dallas, owner of the Sweet Pea Shop here in Port. Everybody, we are still hosting a giveaway. It is our 100th episode giveaway, and we are going to announce it on our 105th episode coming up. So keep an eye out for that. Follow all of the oh, content on Instagram. So head on over, have a look. We made it podcast. You can get that there. So yeah, we have Dallas on today. Hello, Dallas.
Hello.
We're so happy to have you. Well,
Thank
I know I
you.
am. Colin's just meeting you. Um, yes. Oh my gosh, where to even begin? So I was just saying, Dallas owns the Sweet Pea Shop. That's a consignment store for children's items here in Port Hope. So I feel like she's kind of a big deal around here. And I genuinely, Dallas, you're so awesome. So this is a treat for me to get to chat with you for a little while here.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah. So I guess where we could start is where you came up with the idea for Sweet Pea Shop. And then, I mean, you're so much more than a business owner. You're a mom, you're a nurse, I believe, too. Um, yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit about the origin story of Dallas as well. So, could you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I have been in Port Hope. Well, I've been in the area pretty much my whole life, but in Port Hope since the end of '99, so basically 2000. And We lived in one house for about, well, my mom lived in the house for about 24 years before she moved in with us, and we're just kind of close to downtown. My
Yeah.
husband and I have had a house since 2017. And yeah, I just really love Port Hope so much. I've always wanted to be a business owner. I originally went to school out of high school for advertising, and which was kind of weird because I've kind of been like, my mom's had a lot of health issues, so I've kind of been a nurse since I was 11, 12 years old. So it was just such a
Okay.
weird, like, when you're 17, you don't know what you want to do. Advertising came up. Sure, it sounds great.
Yes. Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
yeah, so eventually got on the path of being a nurse, and I absolutely love it, but still have always wanted to be a business owner.
Yeah.
And then I had my daughter, and I just realized, like, buying secondhand clothes in this area is so tricky. Everybody knows that, marketplace is like, people ghost you. You have to drive here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, at the time, my daughter Maisie, she did not want to be in the car. She had no interest in it. So me driving like everywhere to buy clothes that, you just buy it in a bag. You don't even see what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You're just taking a guess. Yeah.
yeah, right. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just one of those things where it was like, you know what? There's got to be something better. I want something easier. And so I reached out to like a bigger franchise,
Yep.
and they said, like, no, your area is too small, but we'll offer you Peterborough. I
Oh,
was like, I don't want
that's
Peterborough.
far.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted something in this region. Like, I wanted local to Northumberland. I wanted to be part of the community that I absolutely loved.
Yeah.
So I just
Absolutely.
kind of set out and did my own thing, and that's where the Sweet Pea Shop came into to play. Like, it was just something that I thought of with Maisie, and then just really put pen to paper when I had my son Harrison. So
Dope
um,
name. Dope name.
Yeah.
thanks.
I got a friend. He's got a son named Harrison as well.
Yeah, I'd never really heard many kids with the name Harrison. Now it's kind of popping up. So yeah, oh, I love it. It suits him.
It's gaining
Yeah,
traction. It does. Both of your kids' names suit them, I think.
yeah. There's yeah.
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 Like
So like
what
right.
did that look like for on your end as far as, looking for a physical location and then connecting with the local community, because
Mhm.
I know that you were doing um it's consignment based. So
Yeah.
connecting with people, how has that worked for you?
Um, so at the start, what I did was I actually just like did a lot of bulk buying from Marketplace from all around,
Okay. Yeah.
because I wasn't sure like how how well it would catch on at first to be able to get inventory to at least open the doors with things on the racks.
For
So I
sure.
did
Yeah.
that, but like as soon as I started putting the word out, I had so many people reach out to me that I
Right.
was like my racks were stacked when I opened. Um,
Yeah.
so it was
I feel like I frequently see you reminding people like we're not accepting
yeah,
donations right now. I'm like she's full up. Yeah, she's got to
yeah,
sell some things
super
first.
Would
filled.
would stacked rack be an inappropriate title for the episode? No.
Stacked racks. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
don't think so.
I'm
No,
here to
it's
ruin your
okay.
experience.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
Um, yeah, so
you gain
once I
traction.
put the word out, it was super easy to get people to bring in their stuff,
Yeah.
which was awesome. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm. So
Was
it
it
was just
scary getting started? Was it
Um,
like did it feel like you're taking a leap?
oh, for sure, for sure. Scary, not really scary, more so just like I think just worried,
Okay,
more
yeah,
worried.
okay.
yeah. I guess that's like
Yeah,
the nervous whatever. But
yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, I think of starting a business or people taking that step, and I just wonder what's going through their minds. Because it's always such a risky prospect trying to start your own business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it was it was very risky because I did an 18-month maternity leave with my daughter. I went back to work for 7 months, 18-month maternity leave again, and then started a business. So I guess
Mm-hmm.
that part was financially scary.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're like this has to work a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Um originally oh no, I'm cutting out. I originally heard of you um and she was the one who was like my friend's starting this up, and it was in like a mommy baby workout class, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, are you serious?" Like everyone was so excited for all the same reasons you just mentioned, right? Not having to like being able to go to one place and source out
Hmm.
your kids' goods. And how do you feel like obviously it's working like I don't say everybody knows, but if you say the Sweet Pea Shop to a parent, generally speaking they know. I feel like it is successful, it continues to be successful. Like what kind of work do you have to put in on a regular basis to support your business?
Uh, it's a lot. Um,
Yeah.
it it takes up a lot of like brain power and just like it's a huge mental thing.
Load. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
especially at the start, like I was there all day, came home, put the kids to bed, went back until like, sometimes 2 a.m.
Ooh.
and
Was
just
this to do like inventory and things like that?
to do inventory, to hang things, to tag things, to enter them into the
Mm.
system, um,
Mm-hmm.
to take pictures of the items to make sure that they're online as well. So it's basically like I had three full-time jobs within the Sweet Pea Shop. So one like
Yeah.
running the actual store,
Yes.
doing the online store, and
Yes.
and then doing social media. And social
Yeah.
media is a whole other beast.
I
Like,
hate social
It's
media. It's
yeah.
we're I feel like making a real effort, and it's a lot. Yeah.
Well, especially because I kind of went like a little, I probably shouldn't have, but now that Instagram has sort of changed the grid view, it unfortunately it drives me nuts because now it doesn't blend. But like if you looked at my Instagram as a whole, it was a puzzle. Like it completely blended from one post to the next,
Oh wow.
which
Okay.
stupidly took up a lot of time because I had to make sure that it was all
That it
cohesive, right?
worked.
So yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But now that they've changed the grid format, it of course doesn't look as good. All this like 2 years of just like blending all my Instagram together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All
um,
this work. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's just it's sad,
It's
but
changed.
I mean, um, it is what it is. Really,
Were
you
Mm-hmm.
just got to
you
move on.
were you always offering online as well?
Yes, from the very start.
That's a big undertaking.
Yes, very much so.
Is
Yes.
it,
Yes.
eh, has it been worth your time? Are you
Yeah, I mean, I'm not good at math, but let's say it was like 10 to 20% of the sales. Um, so, like, I was always getting an online order. I've sort of taken a step back with social media and the online spaces, um, because the business takes so much that, my
Mm-hmm.
kids are only 6 and 3.5. Like, they need
Mm-hmm.
me.
yeah.
So, yeah, the online, I could pump out a lot more clothing than I could if I was taking a picture of it, sometimes taking two pictures for front and back or different
Yes.
angles, making sure, like, again, because I'm a little nutty, I'd put it into Photoshop, remove the background, like, and then, upload it and make sure that the name of the item was for SEO purposes, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, you can't just say like a Carter's onesie. You need to say like Carter's onesie with dinosaurs. So if someone's like dinosaur onesie near me, my shop is going to pop up at the top of the feed, right?
Can you just walk people through SEO real quick?
Yeah, so just making sure that I am naming an item based on search engine optimization, so SEO. So when you in Google type um, like yeah, like children's clothing near me, because I have those specific words placed on my website is going to pop up in your Google search.
And
So
higher
again,
up.
and higher up,
Right,
yes.
okay.
So the better verbiage that's used, the more descriptive terms you use, um, the better your search, like the better your business is going to come up on Google searches.
Mm-hmm. And that would
So
be, uh, have you found that that's a way that people are finding you if they haven't heard
most
of you
likely,
already?
because
Yeah.
like if I go into my back end on Shopify, I can see
Yes.
what people are searching and how they found
Okay.
the website.
Do you
That's fantastic
oh,
analytics to have.
do
Yeah,
you use Google Ads or anything like that as well, or is it purely just sort
I
of word of mouth?
yeah, I do not. I have paid for a few advertising here and there. Like I put my business on the like at the Port Hope Market, you get a free tote. My business with a QR code was on that,
Nice.
and then just paying for like Facebook or Instagram ads every so often.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I don't like. I just do the free advertising on social media because
It
yeah,
works.
word of
It's enough.
mouth and whatnot. It's yeah,
That's
advertising costs a lot. So
Yeah. Yeah, it can, right? It can add up
yeah,
so quickly. Yeah.
yeah.
I had a question about what you were saying. The three jobs. Oh my God. Yes. So you have, they say every child you have is equivalent to two and a half full time jobs, I think. So I would say you are currently working like seven jobs, a minimum.
Well, I also have
Does it
two
feel like
nursing
this?
nursing jobs,
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
I'm hot lunch coordinator at the kids' school.
You are. Oh my God. I didn't even mention that at the top of the episode. Dallas
Yeah,
coordinates the hot lunches at
yeah,
our kids' school. Um, which, oh my God, thank you for doing that, by the way. That's like, what a job.
yeah. So
I
busy,
want to ask
busy.
you more about this, but I feel like I'm so curious about the business part
Yeah.
of what you do. Um, actually accessing like physical clothing racks and shelving and things like
Mhm.
this, is there like an easy way to do that, or is it like you're going to wholesale, like how does that all come together?
Yeah. So the places that I ordered from mainly were Uline
Mm.
and Eddie's hang up display.
Okay.
I also use Bulk
Reputable.
Mart for bags because you got to find the best prices possible.
For sure. Yeah.
So
Bottom
I
line.
did so much research when it came down to like purchasing the racks and what I could get from it. And like if you
Mm-hmm.
spend a certain amount of money with Uline, you can get free stuff, which is
Yeah.
cool. So like,
Ooh.
yeah, so I when you look through the free stuff, I got like a speaker so that I could play music in the store and just little
Mm,
things like
okay.
that.
Yes.
Um, and then
Gosh, I didn't even think of that, but yeah.
yeah, trying to price match too. So even like with my bags, I told them that I got my bags from Bulk Mart at this price.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to do a little bit of wiggle room and help me so that I could stay their customer, which is
Okay.
great. Like they have amazing customer service with Uline. So I
Oh,
really
fantastic.
didn't have any trouble getting supplies.
That's good.
Um, yeah, the sources that I used were perfect, and everyone was willing to help, and it was great. It was easy.
Good.
The stressful part was making sure that I had everything to put those racks up, and you know what I mean, like just making sure that I had all the parts to go with
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
And then,
you operate out of like a brick and mortar type.
Yes.
So it's like I'm just interested to know how you price things out, especially from a consignment point of view, where
Hmm.
it's uh, you're not paying full price for anything. Everything's essentially on sale. Like how do you work
mm-hmm.
the math to make sure you're covering your utilities and your rent and your supplies and then the cost per item? Like that's just my brain is starting to get nauseous thinking about it. I don't
Yeah.
know how you go
Well,
about that.
I used my husband a lot. He's good at math.
Uh, I wish my husband was good at math.
Yeah. But like I had spreadsheets and just a whole bunch of things like went so I originally took courses before I started the business. There's a company called Futurepreneur, which is a
Mm-hmm.
Canadian not-for-profit business that helps with
Futurepreneur.
funding for young entrepreneurs, and they give mentorship and yeah, these resources that they have. Like I took a business plan writing course and a cash flow course, and
Mm-hmm.
they just kind of walk you through different steps of how to do that. My prices, I didn't really work in with um, like overhead costs and whatnot. That was sort of
Mm-hmm.
separate because I wanted my prices to be low and affordable. Because when you're on maternity leave, you make peanuts and you need to be
Mm-hmm.
able to afford to clothe your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I did my prices based on, we have Walmart and Giant Tiger around. That's it.
Smart.
And
So just based off your
nobody really,
competitors.
yeah, like
Yeah.
those are the only competitors. And I just kind of based it off their prices and things like just being able to offer more than just those brands, like just George and just the couple that Giant Tiger has.
Mm-hmm.
I just sort of worked it out that way, and then I also thought to myself, like, how much would I pay for that?
Mm-hmm.
So like a
Sure.
onesie is $3. All of my onesies and t-shirts are $3 unless
Yeah.
you're getting up to the bit bigger kids.
Okay.
But it's like, okay, I would pay $3 for a shirt,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Just sort of taking it to that level where it's like I want to make sure people can afford clothes, but I also need to price it to, yeah, pay for
Yeah.
rent
You got to
and
make your
whatnot.
nut, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
so is this like a volume thing now? You just know how much every month you need to sell in
yeah,
order to make things work out kind of thing?
yes,
That's
exactly, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And is there a point in the month where you start to wonder like, oh shit, I got to start pushing the onesies or something like that? Does that happen? Is this
January and February suck.
oh, okay. People
Okay.
aren't going out, people aren't shopping.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's
But
tough.
that's like any
And Dallas,
retail.
you just survived. Sorry, you were. I feel like I cut you off.
No, no,
I
no,
might
you're
need
good.
to.
You're good.
You just survived. They repaved the main street
Hmm.
where Dallas's shop is, and that was hard on so many businesses.
Yeah.
Uh,
So much less
I
foot
remember you
traffic.
saying it. Yeah, you. I remember you saying it impacted you as well. Um, is this kind of how did you stay afloat? Like, was it just something you kind of had to weather the storm a little bit?
Did you hire
Um,
someone with
yeah,
one of those arrows and they're just
yeah, like
spinning
a
it,
blow up
pointing
like
the
car.
It wouldn't have helped.
No.
No, it was difficult, like, because I'm just kind of on the offshoot of the downtown.
Hmm.
It wasn't easy to get around. I mean, it's Port Hope. It's a quick little jaunt around, but still the inconvenience of it was very
Yes.
hard.
Okay.
Um, it definitely prevented my business from growing like it should have. Like I
Okay.
should have had better growth in my second year than I saw. I mean, I did see growth, don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
it it was definitely very hard. It took a lot on my mental health, and yeah, so it's been a hard year,
Pardon me.
and trying to like wrap my head around, is it going to get better, is has been difficult, and it's, yeah, getting there. But like, again, popping into January, February after that, because it went from April until mid-November, and
It was
then
long. It was
in the
long.
spring they're going to
Yeah.
be repaving, like they're going to do that final pave, so who
Yeah.
knows how long that will take, and what that'll do
Hopefully
as
quick
well.
and easy. Yeah. No more.
Hopefully.
Everybody's ready to, yeah, have that done,
Yeah.
I think.
You got to go to
Yeah.
the Port Hope. Like I don't know, we've been to the Cassie and I and our kids visit Jordan and Jen all the time, and we're down in the community center. Whenever, I don't know what the events are, but there's
Mhm.
always like booths and stuff from local businesses. Just put yourself right beside the beef jerky guy,
Yeah.
and you're guaranteed to make some sales because all the guys go to the beef jerky, so all the girls are gonna go look at the clothes because guys
Mhm.
wouldn't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
know what to buy their kids. You know what I mean?
The food,
I do have a few dads that
some
come
food.
in. Few
Yeah,
dads. Yeah.
good
Yeah.
good for them. I feel like,
Yeah.
We did
yeah,
a
I'm sure it's more rare. Yeah.
we
Yeah,
went to
definitely.
what's this what's the one in our place called Once Upon a Child.
Hmm.
Ah,
It's another consignment one. I think this one's a franchise, I'm not sure.
It is.
um
That's the one that I was reaching out to at the beginning of my venture.
well, fuck them. um
yeah, Dallas is doing great, guys.
well, and
Yeah.
I honestly, I love that you're doing it on your own, and I love that you get to
Mm-hmm.
be your own store.
Hmm.
Franchising's
Mm-hmm.
great, but ultimately you're still now
Someone else
accountable
is
to
still your
someone
boss.
else. Exactly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like they're just going to be taking more off the top, it's just a
Yeah.
racket, right? But it was the cutest thing because they had the fill a bag for $10 kind of a deal where
Yeah.
whatever
Hmm.
color tag it was, you could. And Olivia, our 5-year old, she's 6 in a couple weeks. My God, she was having a field day. It was like
She's
she
Yeah.
like,
was
I can take
proper
anything. What?
shopping. She's like, yeah, throw it in the bag. No, I don't like that one. It was just wild. I was like, where'd you get so old? How'd you get so mature? And my son, who's 7, it's like, I guess I'll take a shirt,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, he was
It's so
probably
funny.
like, I don't know why I need this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah.
I like
The
the idea of the consignment because no one wants to pay the cost for the clothes that they want when
Yeah.
they're going to destroy them, they're going to grow out of them, they're going to lose them, whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
now you also get to include your children in the process. You can bring them with
Hmm.
you,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to worry when they see something. Oh, I want that. You're like, okay, well, we can get this. It's $3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing too is like, people of our generation are a lot more conscious of, well, some I should say, are a lot more conscious of the way that the fashion industry is impacting our environment. And
Yeah,
Huge.
fast
Yeah.
fashion.
buying secondhand, especially with clothing is just helping that circular economy, like making sure that things are just going around and not being put into landfills, and not using so much water to produce the clothing and then just like pumping it all out and then doing that multiple times, like
Over and
Shane,
over.
or that has all those fast fashion clothing,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is
Oh,
another
sorry. I
thing
was
you
like,
guys
I
want to
I
do.
spelt Shane like the guy's name, but I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
is
Yeah,
Shane?
Sheen,
I
Sheehan.
never
I
even
don't.
know.
No one knows what it's pronounced,
No.
but it's
Yeah. Yeah.
provocative.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what do you do with your stock? Do you? I'm sure that eventually you have to get rid of stuff, or do you just kind of are you able to keep things for a lot longer because? of the nature of your business?
Yeah, so when I first started, I had set a contract with all of my consigners that said after 180 days, your item then becomes expired. Do you want it back or do you want me to donate it? So originally that was my plan, but because the way I opened and people were just like pouring in all the clothing and whatnot, it the way the seasons worked out and the way the timing of when I opened worked out, I told people like, yeah, I told you 180 days, but would you like me to keep it to the next season because your first season stuff wasn't on the racks for very long. So
Mm-hmm.
I did keep a bunch of stuff and then put it out the following season. Um, but generally, if it's something that's been sitting around for too long, I either give it back or I donate it. But
Mm-hmm.
now, like Jenna, you were mentioning, you wanted to kind of know how the business has evolved. I've actually moved away from consignment
Mm-hmm.
and into buy outright. So the items have become property of the Sweet Pea Shop.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, if it doesn't sell and I have to donate it, I'm kind of out, which is
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate. But my consignment software was $3,300 a year. And
That's a big price
it's a
tag.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
What the
Yeah.
fuck does it do?
I hope it does
Everything.
everything.
It did
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
It had a consigner portal. People could log on, see their items, see which items have sold. It did the math for me. It took their percentage out. It put their percentage into their account. Like you owe you owe Jenna this much money because
Mm-hmm.
these items sold at this much. So it was incredible. It did my inventory management. It did everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that cost with a small business
That's
and
a
a hard
lot.
year from construction, I couldn't justify doing
Yeah.
that because then if I don't have that cost, I can afford to pay out more
Yes.
for
Yeah.
people who want to sell to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just one of those things where it's like, oh man, hindsight's 2020. Like I wish I had done that from the start
But that's a
because
good
Right.
learning
yeah,
opportunity, right? Because
definitely,
you wouldn't really want to go the other way.
yeah,
Because you get into your routine, you get into your systems, and then you're like, do I want to spend $3,300 a year to see if this works for me or not?
yeah, yeah.
True.
But
I
I
I,
mean, yeah, you live and learn and
I
move
think
on
that's
from it.
fascinating, and I think it's really
Yeah.
important too because I don't think, obviously, you saw the look on my face. I don't think people realize, you know, what goes into running any kind of a store, let alone
Mhm.
a
Mm-hmm.
consignment shop. So I think it's really interesting that there's obviously licensed software out there specifically
Yeah.
for this kind of
Of use.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure there were less expensive ones, but the when I tested them out, there was nothing that worked with what I wanted. And I'm pretty picky when it comes to software stuff. Like I wanted to make sure it was easy for people to understand. I wanted to make sure it was easy on like on the back end for me to figure out.
Yes.
I'm pretty techy, but it was one of those things where I just wanted the easiest, smoothest thing for people.
When you're working
So
5 to 7 other jobs, yes, I would want it to be easy too. Yeah.
yeah,
No shame.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna plug in my laptop. It's dying.
It's dying. Okay. We don't want to lose
do
talent.
when you say raising a kid is like 2.5 jobs, is that per parent or just for the mom?
I think it's for. I
I guess
don't
it
know. I
depends
don't
on
think of.
how involved your partner is.
Yeah. I think.
Oh,
I
poor
think it's just
Cassie.
the
She's working
kid.
like 5 jobs.
I think it's the kid is 2.5 full time jobs. So it's however
However,
your
that's divvied up.
household
Yeah, 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 yeah.
divvies it
That's
up. Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
that probably is for all of life because being a family in a home is a lot of work anyway. Never mind
It's
just the kids.
Yeah.
it's different than it used to be. I feel like
Yeah, I'm way more involved than I should be. God.
yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, we've been watching Mad Men and I'm just like,
I just want to smoke at home and I was
yeah,
gonna say hit women, but that's too
drink
far.
drink your whiskey. Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't think
Oh
that's
man.
what you want either. That
No,
doesn't
no,
sound
no.
fun.
It's just all fun. I had a question.
Um
Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead, Jenna. You first.
No, no, I was just saying like we've been watching Mad Men and it's like the stereotypical, like what we picture families to be like in the 60s. And yeah, it's a bit like
It's almost uncomfortable watching
striking
it.
to
Yeah.
watch. Yeah, because you're just like, oh dear, like he really expects her to like have a fully cooked 6 course meal for him every
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
What?
And that
Yeah.
Impossible.
that
Yeah.
alone is hard to do. Just cooking like a
Uh,
like a three things on your plate
an
kind of
and
meal.
Yes.
yeah, a course meal is
Yeah.
fucking
A course meal.
difficult.
Yeah, one
What's
Yeah.
meal.
for dessert? I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your imagination. Yeah. Sorry, you I feel like you were leading into something.
Who are you talking to?
Oh,
You, I think you had a
Dallas.
question, Colin.
I wanted to know one of the things you mentioned was about the seasons, and so obviously it made me think that you're rotating inventory. So
Mhm.
you've obviously had to build a lot of systems for your business to work, and I'm just wondering what kind of structures you've built internally to make this thing successful in terms of maybe scheduling or planning out or strategizing, whatever that might look like.
And
um,
employees
or are you
too
kind
to
of
help
just
you.
like as you think of it, you make stuff happen kind of thing?
Kind of, because like I'm always trying to learn how to do things differently and what things are going to work because I'm so fresh. Like I need to figure out what's going to work. Um I yes, I do rotate. Like I luckily have a wonderfully dry basement and I bought a bunch of totes that I love being organized. So like they're all labeled with
Mm,
gender and size and season. So like I've got a tote for Christmas and I've got a tote for Halloween and
yes.
so then once I like go through the racks, I
Hmm.
judge obviously shorts. All shorts are coming off the rack. I take them off by size, by gender, and stack them flat,
Hmm.
laid flat in the totes, and then just store them on the shelves downstairs.
Wow.
Um, so I do that. I the timing is kind of different. Like I think I was a little late putting things out my previous year, so I'm trying to jump ahead this year by like I'm Monday night I'm gonna go in after work and get some spring stuff started, and then I'll just slowly incorporate it through the week because I've kind of like I said I've stopped sort of letting it take over all my time, so
Yes.
I'll do it like I'll just roll it out when I get to it. And my mom works for me, so she helps me out
Fuck
in the shop
yeah.
so that yeah.
I'm
Thanks,
the boss
mom.
now, mom.
I see your mom in the shop and she's just so sweet and like so
Yeah.
supportive. Like what a
Yes.
wonderful employee you have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great because like having her there means that I can go work my nursing job. I can take a mental break from owning a business
Yes.
and being there all the time. And
Hmm.
yeah, and then I can go to my nursing job, which I absolutely love. So
Hmm.
it's been good that way. And then she just helps me stay organized because I'll like, I'll enter a bunch of stuff into the system. I get her to tag it and hang it, or I get her to pull things off the rack and we put it in a tote and vice versa. So
Hmm.
we kind of just roll with it basically on what the plan is. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is. It's always changing for me too.
I see just flexibility in that, which I really like. I don't like
Hmm.
the idea. Again, if you were franchised, they'd be telling you by this date you need to have this done and blah 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 blah, and it kind of just
Hmm.
gets in the way a bit.
Yeah.
Is there a plan for this to become the job that you have, or will you continue to keep just doing this sort of on the side? I feel like your life is probably pretty busy right now, and that you don't
Hmm.
have a whole lot of time for yourself or your family.
Yeah. Yeah. On the down low, my plan is actually to sell the business.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
like
actually
I
a really
said,
smart idea.
you know what? People do it all the time, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you build it and then you sell it and you move
yeah,
on. Like I love that. That's
yeah.
Hmm.
genius.
And I just, like, I sit there and I think to myself, I love the Sweet Pea Shop. I love it so much. But I
Hmm.
love being a mother more,
Hmm.
especially at this time of my kids' lives, at the ages that they are.
Yes.
And I want to be the kind of mom who's like not sitting there playing with the kids thinking about the Sweet Pea Shop.
Mm.
Like,
Yes.
it's just one of those things where even, and not sleeping because of it too. It's been a lot better. Like, I leave my laptop at the
It's so
shop. I don't
tough
bring it
though.
home with
Yeah.
me anymore, because I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, I've got to work, and
I've
then
got
I
to go
wouldn't
do
sleep.
this. Oh
Yeah. So
no.
just little things like that where it's like, I had kids to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
I have my whole later life when they're older to set out and be a business owner again, if that's what I
Hmm.
choose
Mm-hmm.
to do. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I have to also sit back and be like, I am so flippin' proud of what I've created, what
From
I've
nothing,
built.
right out of
Like,
thin air.
the only
Mm-hmm.
negative comment that I receive from people, oh, you weren't open when I came by. That's the only negative thing I've heard.
That's perfect. That's
Yeah.
And yeah,
incredible. You should be so proud of
that's
yourself. I hope you are.
yeah,
I really am. Like,
yeah.
it's hard for me to toot my own horn, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? I
We
did a
we need to toot our
pretty
own
damn
horns
good
a bit
job.
more. I think you know
Yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
We were talking about this
Mm-hmm.
on our last episode.
Yeah.
Our friend Sarah, she does medical aesthetics, and she started her own business as well. And it was the same conversation. Like we just we didn't grow up with the idea that we could just be proud of ourselves and that's good enough. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think this? I don't know if this is a fair question or not, because I'm coming at parenting from a different point of view. I had kids expressly to do chores for me, and for nothing else. So,
Oh man.
do you did you talked about you built a business, now you're kind of in that mindset of I really now know 100% that being a mom is where my priority is. Do you think
Hmm.
having the business helped you see that? Do you think it's
Definitely.
made you want to dive in deeper into that aspect of your life? Would if you hadn't started the Sweet Pea Shop, do you think you'd be as keen to be the kind of mother you plan to be? Or what, I don't know how to phrase the question, but I think you understand
I
what I'm
get you.
asking.
That one's kind of hard. I think it's definitely helped because being a nurse, where I'm at, I go to work, I leave my work
True.
at work.
Yeah.
I do not bring it home with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, yeah, if I had just gone back to nursing, I would have just gone and done it. But like, this has definitely put it into perspective that I miss that. I miss leaving work at work. I always used to say that to my husband, like, oh, it kind of sucks. You got to bring your work home with you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What does he do? Can you
and
ask?
say that
Or are you
again.
talking about yourself to him?
No, like, he would have to bring his work home with him. And I'm like, oh, that sucks for you. And now that
Mm-hmm.
I'm a business owner, I'm like, shoot, now I'm bringing my work home with me. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want that. I mean, not that I didn't want that. Like, I knew going into
It
this
would
business.
happen
This
for
was
sure.
part of
Yeah.
Yes.
the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. What I didn't know was the amount of mental capacity that it was going to take away from what I really want to be, and that's my kid's mother. So,
Yeah.
because
I,
when I'm at work, like, clearly you can tell, I have so many jobs. I love being busy. I love working.
Yeah.
Before kids, I was a workaholic. My excuse for thing was like, oh, sorry, I got to work.
Yeah.
Um, but now I'm just like, you know what? Screw that. Like, I should be there for my kids. That's why I have them.
I will say, uh, I've seen you. I see you. I get the chance to see you as a mom, and you're wonderful. You're a wonderful parent. So, um, I, from my perspective, if you like, I don't see that, but obviously, we all live in our own heads, right? And we all have like this lens
Hmm.
in which we see the world. And so, if you feel like it is taking away, then that's a mental load piece as well, right? Where you feel like I can't be the parent I feel I could be for
Hmm.
them. So, yeah, I definitely see how doing everything that you're doing uh, could could impact that for sure. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad that you've been. Um,
I,
sorry,
Jenna, you
did
kind
I
of
cut out
we were just
again?
being polite.
Oh,
Uh, Everyone else will have heard it, so
yes.
but Dallas, my wife, she works long-term care, and she's currently working every other weekend, and she understands what you're talking about because, uh, she's we last summer we paid for the kids to do summer camp, and it was a lot of money, and we basically we take our our paycheck and we say she the way she does the math in her head is she's like, if we pay for this, I'm only taking home $100 every paycheck. And now she's like adding up all the stresses of the work, the absolute weapons grade morons that she works for. And she's trying to figure out if it's worth her time. And she's having the same conversation. She misses her time with the kids. She
Hmm.
misses, she feels like she's missing out on that. And there's been a few occasions where the kids have said, I feel like mommy's working a lot. Where's mommy? And I'm
Yeah.
in the army, and usually it's the other way around, right? But my job is so low key right now; it's ridiculous. I almost don't even have to go. It's wild. Um, so they're like they've got enough of me. But I really appreciate that you're sharing that because I'm hoping when she hears this, it'll help her uh, try to go through the decision making process that she has to go through
Hmm.
in terms of her near future, what she wants to do with her job and where
Well,
she wants to go.
I mean, there's so many of those like Instagram reels that are just like, you only have like 10 summers and, whatever, however many it is before your kids just want to hang out with their friends and don't want to be with you. And it's like, okay, cool. Then I'll go and be a workaholic again then.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'll
right?
fill the void somehow.
Yeah.
We
Yeah. So,
I
you
took
know, you figure it out financially, you figure it out, and then you just be happy
Mhm.
where you are at the time of your life, right?
I think it's such an important thing because I feel
Hmm.
like our generation has really been just pumped this message about this plan, this path that you have to do in order to be a successful adult. Go to
Yep.
school, have a family, get a good job, work till you're dead. And then you look back at previous generations and that's all they did and everyone seems fucking happy. But now you're here doing it and you're like, my God, this is absolute garbage. I am
Hmm.
so bored. I don't want to hang out with my kids because I don't have the mental capacity to pretend that I care about the stupid fucking game we're playing. Olivia, I love her to pieces. This gets me every day. I don't care how tired I am. You know the slap game where you're like one hand and you kind of got to do
Try to
this.
get.
She
Yeah.
fucking holds my hand down and then smacks it with the other hand. And then when I win and I pull it out, she's no, I was just high fiving myself, like little shit like that. Where it's like in that moment, I'm like, this is so fucking funny to me. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that this is happening, and I try to I hold on to that so much
Yeah.
because when you're in those moments where you're like, oh my god, I want to put an Olivia shaped hole in the wall right now. You're driving me so insane. But it's like I I, I really appreciate what you're saying in that yeah, they're only kids for so
Yeah.
long. You only have these moments for
Well,
so long. Hold on
They
to
only
it
have
and
one childhood.
not even
Yeah.
hold on to it,
yeah.
but just like
we
just
and
bask in it and enjoy it.
yeah, and Jenna, I don't know if you've seen, it's a little different for you, Colin, but it's like we only have one motherhood, if you think of it that
Motherhood.
way, right?
Yeah. I have.
And it's
I wanted to remind folks that of a reel I think that you did, Dallas, where you were like wrapping up the gift my kids are asking for the most, and it's you. You're wrapping yourself up, mommy, mommy, mama, mama.
yeah,
I was like,
right?
a
Fun
thousand
fact,
percent. I laughed
that's
so
what
much.
daddy's asking for too. Just putting that
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there.
Aww.
Yeah, right?
There you go.
Well, my sister-in-law asked my in-laws, like, what was your favorite part of like where we were as kids or whatever. And they're
Okay.
like, oh, adults when we could hang out and chat. And I got to thinking to myself, I'm
Oh,
like, yes, that's great, but like, you need to raise your kids and be with your kids in order for them to want to be with you when they're older
to
too,
Yeah.
come
right? Like
back. Yeah.
happy, create a happy life for them, and then
Yeah.
they'll be with you forever. So I
We
know
say
Yeah.
we totally got off topic of the Sweet Pea Shop. I'm very sorry
no,
about
no.
that.
I mean, this is the way the
No.
podcast goes. We
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
No.
want to
We
just have good conversation, right?
yeah,
We say the
exactly.
same thing.
Yeah.
We try to make memories. So anytime
yeah.
we have a decision like, oh, I don't know if is this the best thing for the kids if it's staying up late or junk food or whatever. It's like, you know what, fuck it,
F
it doesn't
yeah.
fucking matter. Everything
Exactly.
that we're basing our parenting decisions off now are what we've seen parenting when we were growing up. And I'm
Right.
like, you know what, you're batting 500 at best, so I'm just gonna swing in the other direction and see what happens. But ultimately,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just about enjoying the time you're spending with your kids
Yeah.
while you
Mhm.
have it. Those
Yeah.
those things you hear. One of the ones I heard was, you know, you have 75% of your time is gone by the time they're 12, and then 90% by
That's
the
rough.
time they're 18. So you kind of
Yeah.
in your mind you're picturing it as like a linear, I'll call it decay of
Mhm.
time with them, but it's actually an exponential decrease.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
more and more faster and faster that you're spending less time with them, and it's kind of
Mhm.
scary that way because I picked up William. He's 7. I picked him up from a friend's house today, and the resulting conversation with that his friend's mom was now William is on Kids Messenger. So it's basically Facebook Messenger for kids, like
I'm
answering.
nervous. What does this mean?
It's just it's but he my 7-year-old is now on. It's like no different than my group chat with my buddies from work, and he's
Yeah.
Okay.
messaging me on the same app. It's for kids, and
Uh-oh.
it's through the parents app almost kind of thing. It
Okay.
seems legit. It
Modern.
seems safe. It seems fine.
Yeah.
But the takeaway from this is my 7-year-old. When I was fucking 7, and I didn't even know what the VCR worked,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and now this
Mhm.
guy's
Yeah.
sending me friggin' emojis and stickers. It's it's such a
He's like, I could put
weird
all the emojis. Yeah.
Yeah.
such a weird time to be a parent. Like I don't understand.
It is weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is this very strange, like polarizing thing. As you know, Dallas, I drive the school bus, so I see like a lot of I hear a lot of what they do outside of school because a lot of them are having that conversation like, what are you going to do tonight when you go home? Or what do you do on the weekend? Or whatever. And there's a lot of talk of like Fortnite with kids who I think should not be playing video
I've
games that
heard.
young. Um, and just like different movies that they're allowed to watch and things like this. And I just like, I don't want to enable the parents, so to speak, but how can they not? Like it's everywhere. How do you know what to censor, what not to censor? There's movies that are rated PG that have content that like maybe isn't really PG, but
Hmm.
you look at
Did
it, you're like, oh, it's rated, it's safe, it's good, and then you watch it, you're like, oh, this is actually kind of not so good. Anyway, like,
did your
what
parents
is the
watch
right
movies
thing?
first before you could watch them?
No,
Did they like pre-screen them? Man, we
no.
got that shit sometimes. Can I watch?
We
What?
Let me
did.
watch it first. You know,
Oh,
like I saw this really
your
funny
dad's
meme.
a detective
It was
in his heart.
how strict were your parents? And the guy's comment underneath was, "I'm sorry, I can't have fun today. I had fun yesterday."
Oh no.
Yeah, and Dad, if you're listening, that's not exactly how I felt. It was
That's
funny.
hilarious.
Fun quota's been met for the week, so too
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I
was.
wish I could just kind of speaking to the social media thing. I listened to this podcast, like Huberman podcast, I
Andrew
think it was,
Huberman. Yeah, I love that guy.
with yeah, with
I'm gonna write this
Jonathan Haidt. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Anyway,
Hate.
one of the ones was
Oh.
talking about like social media and kids and how it's just like just kind of it's just really not good the way that social media and so like screens alone are taking over kids. So it's
Mhm.
kind of scary, but
Mhm.
We'll link that into our show notes. Jonathan Haidt, Haidt.
yeah.
Um, there was actually we got an email from our school. They got some PhD guy doing
Like a talk.
like a talk to parents and students about kids and technology. Really, that's what it amounts
Amazing.
to. But I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is like it seems to be same kind of background. Like it's a academic, empirical stuff to help parents understand what the world looks like to their children.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's just so scary too, like the amount of access that kids have, even to just like sexual things, right?
Oh
Like
no.
things
If
that
you think
kids,
of YouTube, like
yeah,
if you allow them unfiltered YouTube access, they could land on all kinds of stuff.
Well, even like I've heard in the States too, that there are a lot of subliminal things that come on for boys watching all these video game YouTubes, and they
Uh
get
oh.
sucked into these things because there's, like
It's no
parents.
different for the
No
girls. Like
filter.
True,
they,
yeah.
but and it's just from like a different perspective though. They're getting hit harder now with the
Hmm.
messages about what you should look like and how you should
Yeah.
behave and how you should talk and stuff. Like
Hmm.
everything that, and we try really hard to limit how much YouTube they watch. But even if you get certain apps like YouTube Kids or KidsTube or whatever, a lot of
Yeah.
it's the same stuff. It's just ported
Yeah.
over kind of thing. But
Hmm.
Yeah.
all these challenges, all this kind of stuff, people going around spending you got 25 minutes to spend $5,000 and blah 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 blah. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what my
Yeah.
kids coming
Don't
up to me
allow.
now? Do you know what their ideas are? I got an idea, Dad. Let's go to the store and spend all your fucking money in 7 minutes. How about you get fucked?
$2,500?
It's
Like,
wild.
that would twist their concept of what you
Yeah.
can and cannot buy. Like, to buy, I feel like start small with like groceries or something so that they have an understanding of like your basic needs and what they cost.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
this,
gosh.
yeah, this kind of like wraps back into, if I'm more available for my children,
Hmm.
I could
Hmm.
maybe create a stronger bond and be helpful, and maybe they'll be more open with me, and I can help guide them in a like a safer direction when it comes to certain things, right? Like just those things just cross my mind, the anxiety of motherhood, and I'm like, how can I be better? How can I make it so that my kids aren't like scared in this world, or anxiety ridden and like
I can tell
worrying
you
about
that
how they
Have
look. Yeah.
that's a father thing too. Like I think often about just I think about all the times that I was going through shit and I just felt like I didn't have anyone to talk to.
Yeah.
And it's not
right.
like my parents
Yeah.
wouldn't have helped or wouldn't have uh, wanted me to talk to them.
Hmm.
But I just look now at my children and go, okay, how do I make it so that they don't feel that way? And I have no fucking
Hmm.
idea, and that terrifies me because
How do
Yeah.
I the only thing I want for them is for them to never hurt.
Yeah.
And I know immediately that that's a failing prospect because it's going to
it's
happen.
impossible.
It's
Yeah.
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 So you already feel like you're a terrible parent because you can't make their life perfect for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, to both of your point, like giving them the skills to navigate all of these weird
Mhm.
things that will come up in their life that are, I don't want to say inevitable, but whether they find it in person or online, like I feel like that's,
Well, not even the skills too, but just
yeah,
like
Oh, pardon me.
the proper knowledge, and not just like
yes,
whatever
Internet
shit you
knowledge.
find online,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
yes. Oh my
I
gosh,
did
did
Yeah.
you
research.
Google the?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
That's so true because they're gonna come out with this skewed. Like, I often wonder if I'm being like too pedantic with my kids because they'll ask me questions and I'll give them the straight answer every time. I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes I go too far with it, but I don't want them thinking that what they hear is factual.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and not to the sense like, I'm not correcting everything they say, but sometimes you have I want them to know. I guess I'm more trying to give them the understanding that they've heard something, they've talked to me about it, and I've told them
Mm-hmm.
that it's wrong or it's incorrect or it's kind of not true, so that they start to realize that they I really just want them to question things. I want them to
Even, yeah, to
question.
have an
Mm-hmm.
open mind, right? And
Yes.
to not be so
Yeah.
like, oh, so and so said this, so that's the way we have to go. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
no, because that's someone else's perspective.
Mhm.
Let's learn
Right.
about it properly, have the proper knowledge, and then, yeah, like know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Be curious, right?
Hmm.
I told
Mm-hmm.
my son today, uh, two things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
It's like they
What
got
was his
this.
answer?
Well, he kind of. I don't. I was he was wrong about something and he was making a very
Okay.
absolute statement. They were in the bath. It was something stupid.
I'm
Um,
sure.
Olivia splashed him with water or whatever. And he goes, I said, hey man, calm down. It was an accident. He goes, yeah, but she splashed me with water. I said, yeah, it was an accident. She didn't mean to. She splashed you with water. These two things can be true at the same time. She
Mhm.
splashed you. She didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have. I won't say he's a victim. He's a little too young to be that persecuted.
Yeah.
Labeled
But
like
he's
that,
going
yeah.
down a dark road, you know. I gotta pull him back from that. He
Yeah.
but it's I mean I find I find most people struggle with that concept
Mhm.
that two things can be true at the same time.
Yes,
Dr.
coexist.
Becky from A Good Inside actually talks about that a lot. Two things are true.
Tell us more about Becky. What
Yeah,
have you?
she's
Yeah.
well, like sort of more a gentle approach to kids and like learning what they how they're viewing things and how you can
Yes.
do like different aspects instead of just like a strict like no this is not what you're supposed to do. Be like okay, well you kind of want to think
Yes.
the kids are good. They don't mean harm. They're not malicious. They're good inside,
Mm,
and you just
Yes.
need to figure out how to it's
Yes.
like I don't know about that.
He's like, I don't know. I'm not
you
Yeah.
sure.
fucking at no. I'm sorry, I swear
Yeah.
a lot. I apologize.
Their kids
All
Should
are
have
good.
mentioned
All
that
good.
at the beginning.
no, I feel
Yeah.
like I see so like William and Olivia are so highly intelligent. They're just clever, I think is and all I don't want to say ultimately, but like also the age that your kids are at. They want what they want. Like they're kind of selfish. They're getting into that like how can I serve me
So
stage. So yeah, I
that's
see how
interesting.
that comes across as like they're
If I can
they're
find it,
assholes.
if
Yeah.
I can find it, I'll try to send it to you guys. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sharing this with Cassie. This was probably like months ago, but it was talking about that concept. It was I very much came from the point of view of okay, you're not listening, you're choosing to ignore me,
Ah,
you whatever whatever
okay.
whatever. But they're up into like their mid teens almost. It's just varying strata of individuation. So they hear what you say, but their minds, and it's selfish, but it's not selfish because that would imply like an ego
It's
approach.
intentional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's them figuring out how they fit into the world. So they go, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you told me to this. How does that apply to me? Well, okay, I want this. You want that. This is what we'll do. And it's kind of just
Mm-hmm.
varying degrees of that. And it becomes more abstract as they get older and they understand themselves and the world a bit better. But each
Mm-hmm.
time they're misinterpreting something or not listening or serving their own interests first, it represents two things. Number one, they're sort of understanding how to play the game, how to game the system, and they're also
Mm-hmm.
demonstrating your lack of communication. They're showing you
Mm.
that hey, if you want me to do something specifically, tell me fucking specific. It's something like that. I'll try to find it, but it really just uh,
They're a
it,
reflection of us.
it elaborates on what you were saying. Is that yeah, the intelligent kids are going to figure this out, and it's not because they're mean. It's not because they're selfish or malicious. They're just it's a tough thing to grow up. It's a tough thing to mature. It's I'm 36
Hmm.
years old and I'm still struggling daily. Um,
Yep.
a 5-year old and a 7-year old, they're not having a good time.
Yeah, our Colin, our kids have the same teacher, and he said to me the other day, he goes, "Someone asked me if you could go back to being, I think this is sort of what he said, if you could go back and be in your 20s, would you choose to do that, or would you stay the age you are with the knowledge that you had now?" And I was like, "Oh, I would not go back to my early 20s. Like, just like
No,
the
forget it.
way that you change as a person and who you try to be, like I find it easier to be the person that I want to be now that I'm this old. Where if I had thought
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I want to be this person in my 20s, I'd be like, whatever, who cares? I'm just gonna have fun. So
Yeah.
it's just,
You're
yeah,
so concerned about what you're trying to be, what you think other people
yeah,
expect of you, or how you think they want you to look.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I would love for my kids to grow up understanding that they have to please no one. No one has to agree with them.
hmm,
They can do whatever the fuck they want and be unapologetic about it. Like I would that for me would mean I was a successful parent because I agree
yeah,
with you
Mm-hmm.
100%. I think it's a reflection of I think that's what gracefully aging looks like accepting who you are,
Ah.
Hmm.
just falling in to who Dallas is or who Colin is or who Jen is, and just, because we all have flaws, we all have
Yeah.
good parts and bad parts, but we try so hard to hide the bad parts of ourselves, and instead of letting the good parts of ourselves shine, we try to replace those with what we think other people want those good parts to be, and
Mm-hmm.
it just creates this huge psychic mess. And I would love
Hmm.
to have my kids not deal with that. That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Just kind of like speaking on to people pleasing and bringing it to the Sweet Pea Shop too.
Mm-hmm.
Another way that I've evolved as a business owner is not being a people pleaser like I was at the start. And I guess that's the same, like being a people pleaser in your 20s compared to being in your mid 30s.
Different.
Just like people would bring, I had set rules on how, like, I want to accept your items, but people would still just
Mm-hmm.
garbage bag, shoved in clothes, like just not folded properly or just inside out, buttons open. And it's kind of like, if
No, you
you were
had
to,
like such respectful
yeah,
rules. Like you were like, bring it to me washed. If you have stained
yeah,
stuff, like push it to the side or try and wash it, like do your
yeah,
best and fold it and deliver it to me nicely. Like,
yeah.
and
So
that's, to me, that was a very minor thing to ask of
it is.
of the
Well, if
people.
you go into a
Like,
store, are you going to buy the wrinkly shirt or the nice shirt? Like the nice, not, that
exactly.
looks like it's been
Yeah.
folded, but it's not wrinkly, right? So I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll do up the buttons, and the amount of time that I've spent doing buttons,
You're
doing
just
zippers,
doing
doing
laundry at
stuff.
home and at work.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? No, like now my rules are, again, still freshly laundered, but you lay
Mm-hmm.
them flat, and all buttons, zippers, and snaps must be done, or I won't accept
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, and it's not, I'm not going to be like, oh, sorry, I can't take this because of this. And be like, no, if you want to do the work, then I'll do the work. Like, we got to work together. In order for your things to sell, it needs to look good.
That's so
So,
interesting. And that's like the ethos of what a
Mm-hmm.
consignment store is. It's like a mutual relationship.
mhm,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
But
Because
some people
Yeah.
don't see it that way. Some
Yeah.
people
no,
see it as sort of like a dumping ground to get rid of their
yes.
stuff.
It's like
So
when I
people
take shit
come
to
in.
Value Village, I'll
Yeah.
just kick
Which,
it out of the door while I'm driving by. I don't give a fuck. You're gonna
yeah.
overprice it anyway.
Yeah.
They,
But
yeah,
this
Yeah. But
this
do that
stuff
at
is,
Value Village, not
yeah.
here.
yeah,
Yeah, this is really different, and I like
Totally.
that approach. Because I think people
yeah.
too, like, they just need to be reminded
Hmm.
politely, and because I don't imagine that you're being an asshole about it, but
Oh,
Mm-mm.
definitely not.
people will take every opportunity to make their lives easier at the
Hmm.
expense
Yes.
of people around them. So I'm grateful that you're able to uh, create appropriate
Hold
boundaries
the
and encourage,
boundary.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
encourage people to respect them,
Hmm.
which I think is
And
a tough thing in this world.
yeah, someone came in not too long ago, and I was like, not accepting, but I'm like, I'll look through your stuff, because again, trying to be a people pleaser, and it's like, I'm not accepting. Like, Dallas, you should have just said no. But then I thought,
Mm-hmm.
no, okay, you know what? Like, I've never seen this person before. I want them to come back. Let's just have a conversation. But I
Yeah.
noticed buttons weren't done, things weren't flat. So I was like, these are my rules on how I accept things. If you want
Mm-hmm.
to sit here with the counter and do up the buttons and do the snaps, then I'll look through it, like while you're here.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, good for you. You put a little bit of a boundary. Like, that's what you need
Mm-hmm.
to do. Like, I should have said, no, I'm not accepting the items because I already had enough of the stock of the size that they had. But instead, I thought, okay, I'll be less of a people pleaser by just like toning it down, getting them to do the work while they're here. And then,
Yes.
just, but yeah, like trying
That's
to, one thing I will like try to say to people who are starting a business is like, just keep your boundaries from the start. Like, otherwise,
Yes.
people
Yeah.
will just keep taking advantage and they won't change. So,
would
Mm-hmm.
would the beginning Dallas have allowed someone to stay at the counter and sort it out? Would that, because I'm thinking like boundaries are really important and boundaries are
Mm-hmm.
good, but I mean we can look at everything from geopolitics right down to how you talk to your children. There's no absolutes. It's not, there's never any black and white. Everything's a give and take. It's all about working with other people.
Mhm.
And so I think it's perfectly reasonable that you, rather than just say no, I think you're still respecting your boundaries
Yeah.
by saying, hey, like, these are the rules. I can't accept these. If you're willing
Mhm.
to do this, then I'd love to talk with you. But what you're saying too is like, I don't want to take the time to have to explain this to them,
Mhm.
and that's fair too. But I think it's okay uh, to, I'll say, bend the rules. You're not bending the rules, but I don't think saying
You were educating,
no.
I think, that person
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like you
in
said
that
too,
case.
it's in the
Yeah.
best interest of both of you for you to have given
Mhm.
that answer
Right.
rather than say just outright no, because maybe they'd be turned off and not, and now they're bad
Yeah,
mouthing
exactly.
Sweet Pea. That fucking
And then they're
bitch.
on the
She wouldn't take my
Northumberland moms
onesies.
group. Yeah, bitching about people. Yeah.
Sorry, I made a fucking very, that was, I just assumed it was a woman. I had no place to do that.
I
I
have a
think
couple
she
male
said,
consignors.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I think Dallas, you said she, so
I
maybe.
did. Yeah. Yeah.
oh, thank God. Oh, I'm not a
Yeah.
bigot.
No,
Thank
but it's
God.
true. Like I don't want someone to turn away and be like, "Pfft, I'm not going back there because she said no. Like nobody likes to be told
Right.
no. But I did
Mm-hmm.
technically say no, but I put a solution on the table.
That's perfect,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah.
let's
Yes.
work together, and that's
Hmm.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Otherwise,
I'm
yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
Oh, I cut out.
Sorry, what's that, Jenna?
No, I said, did they decide that they would button those buttons up at the counter,
Yeah, they did
or did
actually.
they
They
not?
did.
Perfect.
Okay.
And I told them ahead of time too. I just said, look, like I'm not really accepting these sizes, but I'll go through and I'll pick out some of your best stuff and we'll go from
Mm-hmm.
there. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
yeah.
awesome too because it's it shows the good faith of all parties involved, right? Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
you're you recognize a problem space where there's too much waste, not enough secondhand options, all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
most people, the easier thing for them to do is to just take it to Value Village and donate it all,
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
try their hand at Facebook Marketplace, like one lot at a time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, it says a lot that they're willing to go there and see what they can do to help that ecosystem thrive, where people can get what they need. We can support each other. Everyone can win, kind of thing. I think that's
Hmm.
awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
win-win-win, which
I
according to
wanted to
Michael
mention
Scott is
also.
the optimal solution.
Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
win-win-win. Yes. I had picked out some items to send to my friend who had a baby in December, and I always like write her. She loves reading letters, so I like wrote her a long letter with the gift, and I just said, "P.S. Like the items are from the Sweet Pea Shop, and it's it goes back to families in the community. Really, like that money is." Helping you feed your kids, it's helping other people who are selling their items through you feed their
Hmm.
kids. Like it's we all know how sort of complex the economy is right now. And so anyways, she messaged me and she was like, I am so grateful for these. She's like, I'm so happy to hear that like it supported that. So anyways, thank you for inspiring me to
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Well, it's
shop
great
at your
too.
store. Yeah.
Yeah, like you think about the memories that you can remember with your kids in those outfits, and like some other
Yes.
family is gonna have those memories too. So
Yeah.
This is the
they're
one where you exploded and shit out your back.
yeah,
Tony was
that one
holding you.
that one's insane. We're not putting that on the rack.
Yeah. Oh, you do have like
Yeah.
a I don't know if you still have it, but you did have like a stained bin where it was
Hmm.
like and all the profits go to remind me where.
So the last time I was able to donate $318 to the Northumberland Child Development Center here in
Mm,
Port Hope.
That's
amazing.
So that
incredible.
helped funding families for diapers and like not courses, but things like that for families. And yeah,
Yeah.
it was really awesome. So
You
I was
yeah,
gonna
you
ask,
are truly yeah.
yeah.
right on the heels of this beautiful thing that you just said, and I'm sure I know the answer now. when these lots come in, are you able to pick and choose and do a little self shopping first, get the
Yeah.
best
So,
items for yourself,
oh,
or
for my
how's that
kids,
how's that work?
I try really hard not to. There have
Oh,
been
that's
a
awesome.
Yes.
few,
Or
like,
you're like, ooh, this would look nice on
yeah,
Harrison.
you know
Yeah.
what? My I don't worry about Maisie because my mom takes Maisie downtown. They go when the shop is closed. She picks out all her clothes and they go shopping and do their thing.
That's so
Um,
cute.
but for
A
Yeah.
Harrison,
private shopper? My God,
yeah, I
she's
know,
spoiled.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Hey,
Harrison,
that's a
he's been
business
like,
idea, no? A
it is,
private
yeah.
shopping
I know.
Children
store.
private shopper, child
I
private.
actually
No,
do
I
that
can't.
for Kenny's grandmother. Our grand, she'll message me and be like, "I need something for this person," and she's like, "I'm gonna spend this much money," and I'm like, "All right, let's do it." I just filled a bag for her granddaughter who's
Ah,
having a baby, and yeah,
okay.
it's actually kind of fun because I was able to make sets and put a bunch of good things in there.
That's
It
actually a
is
really
fun.
Cool.
interesting idea too, because uh, you know, let's take me for example. I would want my children. I mean, they dress themselves now, and it's an absolute riot.
Yeah,
Uh, but I would want them to wear nice clothes and look decent. But I also have no patience or willingness to go and figure that out.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
to charge like to charge like an additional 15-20% to be like, I'll put this together
Well,
Do
for
this
you.
for me.
I actually, yeah, I did that. I posted a few times about mystery bags. Um, $25 I think was like a medium bag, $50 was a big bag, and I would just fill the bag up to $25, like whatever you wanted to spend, and like I
Hmm.
would just do it for you. And of course, I'm not going to put in like garbage stuff, but
No.
no one actually took to it. I was surprised because that's kind of like, yeah, your personal shopper. You're just like, you know what, just fill me a bag of $25 and I'll come pick it up.
Yeah, but I
Yes.
think
I
you would
think
say mystery.
maybe,
Oh, go ahead.
I think the word mystery bag
Yeah,
might it might be in the wording, right? Because I think
yeah,
if you said like I will personally
Yeah,
shop for you, that would be different.
yeah. You
yeah,
said
Right.
personal
Yeah.
shopping. If that was an
Yeah.
option, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then here's what you do: like, you put a form to it.
yeah.
Oh, I gotta try to reconnect thing. You put a form to it, and then you make them fill it out, and then it's like an experience, and they're like, "Oh my god, someone's really doing this
Yes.
for me."
I had to
I
Yeah.
actually remove my forms from the website because, oh my lord, the amount of spam you get is
Oh
ridiculous.
my god, just bots filling
No.
them out, eh?
Oh
Yeah.
Wild.
no.
Or even just like, hey, I saw your website. Your SEO could be better. It's like, no, my SEO is great. Thank you very much. Like, leave me alone.
I'm fine.
That's so funny. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
We got one guy emailed us trying to help us get our YouTube going, and we're both just terrified to
From
engage him.
Bangladesh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
All
we're,
the
Yeah.
time.
we're
All the
just
time.
terrified to engage with him because we don't know what it looks like. After having a conversation, we're like, yeah, let's see what this is like, and then we're just gonna get a bill for like 10,000 whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Hmm.
Oh, there was
Yeah.
one more thing I was gonna ask you. Oh, it's gone. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
It's gone. Okay. We'll ask it in the comments later, maybe. Yeah, well, I think we'll leave that at that for this week. Oh my gosh, Dallas, this has been truly a treat. I love chatting with you. I feel like I take advantage whenever we see each other at field trips. P.S. Are
Yeah.
you at the field trip tomorrow?
No.
No.
Maisie's
Okay.
SK, not grade one.
Oh, that's right. The SKs are in
Way to
recording.
make it awkward, Jenna.
Shucks. No.
Well, it's
No,
okay
I'm
because
just sad now.
yeah, I know. But Jenna and I are apparently going to be each other's lives. Maisie's going to marry Anson, so
Yes, she talks about it a lot. The girls at school are like, there's one girl who's in their class who's on the bus, and she's like, Macy's in love with Anson, and Anson's like, don't tell my mom.
Shush. Oh, it's
Anyways,
so
it's
funny.
very don't talk
it's
to her
so
about
cute.
it.
It's so
Yeah,
cute.
he's like protecting his personal life already. It makes me laugh. Yeah.
But not Isla's,
Um,
which was
I
funny.
approve.
Yeah. Hey, she's so like, oh my gosh. You know when you
It's
like
precious.
you're pregnant and you're just like, who's my kid gonna be? She's just like way beyond any expectation that I could have ever had. Like it's just
Oh,
amazing. So
yes. Yeah.
yeah, she's a treat.
Mhm.
I can promise you next time we're in Port Hope, we're gonna swing by and check out the shop.
Yeah.
Olivia will
Yes.
have a field day.
Yeah.
Especially, it's so much different when you know you're supporting someone you've met before, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but for our listeners, where could they find you? Where can they can
Yeah,
I don't know
so
what the shipping radius is or anything like that, but
yeah, so do yeah, on the sweetpeashop.ca, and we do shipping all of Canada, local delivery for $5, so within a 20-kilometer radius.
Mm-hmm.
On Instagram at the sweet pea underscore shop. On Facebook, that's a longer name. um, but yeah, you can find everything on the sweetpeashop.ca.
Okay.
Everything's listed there.
you heard
Business
it here,
hours,
folks. And
clothes.
personal shopper coming soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Dallas. It was wonderful to meet
Yeah,
you and such a
you
great
too.
conversation. I had a blast. I hope you did too.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We're grateful. Yeah. Um, One last reminder for our listeners: enter our contest. Go on Instagram. Get all the details there. Yes, Dallas, I'm thanking you again. This has been so lovely. And we'll talk to everyone next time. Toodles.
oh, thank God it's over.